السلام عليكم.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. ثم أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. All praise due to Allah, and peace and blessing be upon Prophet Muhammad and his household. Dear brothers and sisters, I came to you today from a very far place. Just 2 days ago, 48 hours ago, I was in St. Petersburg, Russia. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala obliged us to carry on this message, to convey to the rest of mankind. And this will be, inshallah ta'ala, the topic for today and for tonight. Our obligation towards Allah and towards this deen. First, we have to understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us to give da'wah to non-Muslims and to take this beautiful deen, this beautiful gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has entrusted us with and has blessed us with, to the rest of mankind. As He said, referring to His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, 2 verses in the Quran: وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا كَافَّةً لِلنَّاسِ وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. That we sent you as mercy for the entire world, for the entire mankind. We sent you as mercy for mankind. This is the second verse that I mentioned, Surah Al-Anbiya. And the first one, it says here that we have sent you to the entire human race. So apparently after the death of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Sahaba understood this verse and they took it upon themselves to take this beautiful deen to the rest of the world. It's very important to mention, it's really important to mention that da'wah, according to the scholars of Islam, they agree unanimously This is not an issue of ikhtilaf. There's no difference of opinion. They agree unanimously that da'wah is an obligation upon this ummah. And many of them, they say it's an obligation upon each and every individual, each and every member of us. As a matter of fact, this opinion is the closest to reality and is the closest to the truth. But without going through that topic, maybe tonight we'll elaborate. Regardless of the obligation, honestly, if it was just for the virtue itself of giving da'wah, which I'll mention in a second, inshallah, that should be the dream of each and every one of us, to guide at least one person to Islam. But let's go back a little bit. Let's just back up and see what happened after the death of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the Sahaba, may Allah be pleased with them, they are the best of example to us. They learned from him sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they understood exactly the core message of this deen, and based upon it, they implemented that in their lives until they met their Lord. So here, after the death of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the entire Arabic Peninsula, they committed apostasy. They committed ridda. They left Islam with the exception of 3 places: Mecca, Al-Madinah, and Al-Ta'if. And to those of you who've been to Hajj or Umrah and were blessed by visiting these beautiful holy places, you will know that better than anything. You'll know that better than anyone. That Mecca, and the Haram of Mecca specifically, or Medina at large, you'll find so much peace, tranquility, tama'nina, so much serenity, that it's so overwhelming that no one can explain. Allah, brothers and sisters, I have not seen a more beautiful place. Allah blessed me by traveling the world, predominantly for da'wah. And I've probably done over 75 international trips. And I can tell you right now, there is no more beautiful place on earth, more than Medina and Mecca. Wallahi. So here the Sahaba, knowing the virtue and knowing the reward of praying in the Haram, and to mention the reward, for Mecca, one prayer in the Haram of Mecca is equivalent to 100,000 salah. So one salah is equivalent to 100,000, right? And one salah in Medina, specifically in the masjid of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is equivalent to how many salawat? To 1,000. So subhanAllah, if you are living in Mecca, you are harvesting every day 500,000 salah. Subhanallah, 500,000 salah. Then someone may say, and may wonder, why would the Sahaba do this? Why would they give up such enormous reward and leave Mecca, or leave Al-Madinah, or leave Al-Ta'if? Because these 3 places, like I was saying, and again I'm backing up here, what happened immediately after the death of Prophet Muhammad, the Sahaba who were raised Iman-wise next to him, and they interacted with him, they did not leave Islam, obviously, but it is the rest of the Arabs who were not really, Islam was not fully into their hearts. So the Sahaba took it upon themselves to take that deen to the rest of Arabia, and then after that to the rest of the world. And they reached the four known corners of the earth for their time. They went to the furthest part in Africa, the Atlantic Ocean. And we know the famous saying of the Tabi'i, who said that once he got there, he said, if I knew that there are people, and subhanAllah, he's referring to the Americas, because he didn't know that the Americas existed at that time. I said, if I knew that there is a land beyond this ocean, wallahi, I will strive to get there and to carry this message of Islam. And matter of 3 decades, Islam went from China all the way to South France. Just 30 years. Imagine 30 years. And we're talking about only a few thousand Sahabas. So again, why did they do this? Why? Because, subhanAllah, if it wasn't for their work, none of us here today, I'm assuming, none of us today here is from the indigenous people of Mecca, Al-Madinah, and Al-Ta'if who lived there at that time. These people are less than 1% of this ummah, not even 1%. Okay? So, predominantly, the majority of the Ummah would not be Muslim today. Maybe you find us still worshipping cross, others worshipping idols, others maybe are agnostic or atheist, or whatever religion they are following. You know, their forefathers. But wallahi, brothers and sisters, because of their ultimate sacrifice, they sacrificed everything for this deen. They left their families, their homes. They left the comfort that, you know, at that time, you can imagine someone, traveling for months. And, alhamdulillah, I studied Sharia for the majority of my life, and I can tell you right now, some of these stories are just, it's almost unbelievable. It's really hard to believe with the standards of today's world. Some of them would travel for months, just to convey one hadith. And you know these stories. I'm sure many of you have heard it. And some of them would be stuck, out there conveying the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for years until their own spouses would think that they are dead. And they leave, a wife pregnant, they come back and they see that child became an adult. And that because they understood the virtue of da'wah. You know what's the virtue of da'wah? 3 ahadith. And I want you to really listen carefully to these ahadith. Because wallahi, this could be the best investment that you've ever made with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first one is related by Al-Bukhari and is narrated by Sahl ibn Sa'd. Sahl ibn Sa'd, may Allah be pleased with him, said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لأن يهدي الله بك رجلا خير لك من حمر النعم. For Allah to guide through one individual to Islam. Just one. We're not talking about 10 or 100 or 1,000. For Allah to guide through one individual to Islam, that shall be better for you than a whole bunch of the red camels. And at that time, the red camels, they were the most luxurious ride in Arabia. They were the most prized wealth of Arabia. It's like saying these days the most expensive car, like a Bugatti or something. Millions of dollars, brothers and sisters. Just guiding one person to Islam. Wallahi, brothers and sisters, I have witnessed people becoming Muslim after only a short conversation of only a few minutes. And you'd be surprised to see them, after becoming Muslim, becoming better than the vast majority of the people in this ummah. SubhanAllah, carrying the message of Islam and reminding you in such a profound way of the lifestyle of the Sahaba and their sacrifice and the amount of challenges they have to go through, resisting and opposing, society and the pressure from society and everything that, comes with it. You have no idea what these brothers and sisters, they go through. Yet, wallah, you find them more resilient and more, strong and more sincere, just seeking the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second hadith is related by Al-Bukhari, and this time is narrated by the famous Sahabi Anas ibn Malik. As he said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لأن يهدي الله بك رجلا واحدا خير لك مما طلعت عليه الشمس وغربت. For Allah to guide through you one man to Islam, that would be better for you than what? Than would ever have been exposed to the sun. You can imagine the luxuries of this entire world. The money, the wealth, the property, the cars, everything beautiful on this planet. Just guiding one person to Islam, wallahi, it will be better for you in the scale of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than all of this combined. And the third one, I would conclude the virtue of this one by saying, and this hadith was narrated by the famous Sahabi, again, Mu'adh ibn Jabal, and it's related by Ahmed in his Musnad, and the chain of narration is Hasan. So here he said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لأن يهدي الله بك رجلا واحدا لأن يهدي الله بك رجلا واحدا خير لك من الدنيا وما فيها. For Allah to guide through one man to Islam, one individual, that will be better for you than the whole world and what it contains. Wallahi, just one person, and you have no idea how easy it is to implement this hadith. Once you do the right thing, inshallah, I'll share with you in the second khutbah how to do that. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه. الحمد لله رب العالمين ولي الصالحين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Yusuf, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني وسبحان الله وما أنا من المشركين. Say, this is my path, my most important mission, my most important task. This is the Prophet ﷺ being directed and being addressed and being commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to say to us, to say to his ummah that this is my most important mission. To call mankind to Allah, but then he added something really important, almost a prerequisite, a condition. That anytime you call people to Islam, you must convey it with basira. What's basira? That word literally, it means, it's for those who understand Arabic, it's derived from the root word basar. And basar in Arabic means vision, eyesight. Here the scholars of tafsir, they say what's meant by al-basira in this verse is ilm, meaning that you should convey Islam with knowledge. And the reason why Allah chose the word basira, meaning that knowledge should be, so clear to them that when you convey it, it should be in a very clear manner, to the point that as if they can witness and visualize that truth with their very eyes. How to do this? Inshallah ta'ala, tonight I want you to come because we're going to have, inshallah, a workshop. That workshop is called Learn How to Invite Non-Muslims to Islam. Alhamdulillah, this workshop has been one of the most successful workshops on the topic. You can Google it. Learn How to Invite Non-Muslims to Islam by Mercy for Mankind. You see the reviews, amazing reviews, to the point that it was taken by Rabitat al-Alam al-Islami, the World Muslim League, probably the largest Islamic organization in the world, based in Mecca, and they translated that into multiple world languages to give it to their da'wah department worldwide. Alhamdulillah ta'ala, it has received great reviews and mashallah for those who tried it. And I've been giving that workshop personally for the past 6-7 years of my life, almost full time, weekly in different places. I've given it to hundreds of places, probably at least 25 countries and hundreds of US cities. And alhamdulillah ta'ala, I can tell you, it will walk you through it from the time you see a non-Muslim that you have never talked to in your entire life until he becomes Muslim, inshallah, or at least until you're able to convey the message of Islam to him clearly, inshallah. And of course, guidance is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it's really important to come tonight, and inshallah we'll have a program between Maghrib and Isha. It will be, we're going to have dinner, and then immediately after Isha, we're going to have that workshop. So do not miss it. It's really, really, really important. I can't emphasize it enough. Again, why did I come today? I came today for 2 reasons. First, to remind you of our obligation, because this deen doesn't belong to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam only, or doesn't belong to the Sahaba. It doesn't belong to me or you or to her, but it belongs to all of us. This is a deen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, imagine if you were not born Muslim. Allah has given you the greatest blessing, because the Prophet ﷺ said the greatest ni'mah, the greatest blessing, the greatest bounty that Allah can bless a human being with is not money, is not health, is not fame, is not position, is not a beautiful wife, is not amazing children, but it is an iman. Wallahi, this is the greatest ni'mah of Allah. Imagine if you were not Muslim, where would you be today? I want you to really think about it for one moment, that there are out there, you know how many billions? There are over 5 billion non-Muslims in this world. 5 billion. And wallahi, brothers and sisters, from all these countries I've been to, wallahi, my heart bleeds. Wallahi, I was just in Russia, I was in Belarus, went to Romania. I mean, just from Eid al-Fitr until today, probably hit at least 15 countries. Going European tour twice, plus Mercy for Mankind. Alhamdulillah, we are a global organization. We are in 20 different countries. 20 different countries around the globe. We just had recently, just last weekend, we had a Dawah conference in Paris. You can Google it as well, or you can go to our Facebook, you'll see all information about it. We brought brothers and sisters from all over Europe, our representatives, and we gave them training, and we did a great, amazing Dawah program also in conjunction with Ayera, who came as our guest, and it was amazing. But I want to tell you something, wallahi, brothers and sisters, again, it's, if you are secluded in your community, it's hard to really see that picture. It's until you start traveling the world and you start seeing. And one thing, if I learned anything from all these travels, and I've been traveling on behalf of Mercy for Mankind globally, outside of the US, since exactly March 2013. And I've done for them probably alone, probably at least 50 trips, just for Mercy for Mankind. I can tell you right now that wallahi, this is the easiest country in the world and the most effective and the most fertile soil for da'wah. Wallahi, it is the most fertile soil for da'wah. You have no idea how difficult it is to give da'wah outside of the US. Giving da'wah to a European is like addressing, I don't know, again. Anyway, it's hard. These people do not really listen. They just will throw you all over the place, and they use all kind of philosophy, all kind of hatred that comes from the era of crusades and everything that has been rooted since that time. It's absolutely difficult to give da'wah in Europe, and much harder to give da'wah in Eastern Europe. And alhamdulillah, as far as giving da'wah in the rest of the world, I can tell you South America is pretty alhamdulillah, pretty easy. The only problem is these brothers and sisters in South America, after they become Muslim, it's really hard to retain them. It's the amount of shahadas that just do not end up becoming Muslim or staying upon Islam is just enormous. But you find that Americans are the most stable, subhanahu wa ta'ala, when it comes to accepting Islam. Once they accept Islam, many of them, at least half of them, they stay Muslims. And mashallah, they take Islam to a totally different level. And you know the strength. If you're traveling outside of the US, you know the strength of being an American anywhere in this world. Subhanallah ta'ala, Americans have a different status globally, and they are viewed in a very different way. And subhanallah, this country is the qibla of the world, has become the role model that everybody globally look up to. So if we can make a positive impact upon this country, wallahi, we can change the whole world. Wallahi, brothers and sisters. And we can do it. Because alhamdulillah ta'ala, we are enjoying freedom of speech. We are enjoying freedom of religion. I cannot tell you, when I was in Russia, you can get arrested for giving da'wah, you can get persecuted, you can go to prison for simply being on the street with a sign. And it almost happened to me, around mid-July when I was there towards the end of the World Cup. We almost got arrested doing this. So I can tell you, the amount of freedom that we are enjoying is just mind-blowing. Wallah, I come to this country and I'm so thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me personally this opportunity. And I can tell you, brothers and sisters, at least if you are not able to give da'wah yourself, and I'll conclude with this hadith, at least you can sponsor somebody who's giving da'wah. As the Prophet ﷺ said in the authentic hadith that is related by Al-Bukhari and Muslim, agreed upon hadith, he said, for those who sponsor financially, those who sponsor financially, support financially, the ones that convey the message of Islam, they will give the same exact reward just like them. So if you are not able to give da'wah, or you haven't been giving da'wah yourself, or maybe you don't have the time, or the skills, or whatever the case is, at least you have something to tell Allah on the day of judgment when they ask you about your time in this country. Because wallahi, brothers and sisters, wallahi, and mark my words, I promise you, that you will be standing all alone in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of Qiyamah, and He's going to ask you about your obligation, about your time in this country. Allah picked you over billions of people who want to come to this country. And He's going to tell you, did you come here to do what? To accomplish the American dream? To have a nice car, a big house, a beautiful family, a fridge full of the most delicious food? But then what about da'wah? What about your obligation? This is something, again, this is not a matter of difference of opinion. The scholars, they agree unanimously that da'wah, giving da'wah to non-Muslims, is what? Is mandatory upon all of us. And alhamdulillah ta'ala, you have an organization. We are the only organization in North America that sponsors financially, full-time dua, professional dua. And mashallah, these brothers and sisters, some of them, wallahi, they bring to Islam a year over 50 shahadas, and some bring even over 100 shahadas a year. Those brothers who are doing it full-time. I can tell you, this could be the greatest investment that you have ever done with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So today, I'm going to ask you for your help. Inshallah, you're going to help us. Matter of fact, you're not going to help us. You're going to be helping yourself, because Allah said, وَإِن تَتَوَلَّوْا يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ. That if you neglect your duties, He will replace you by others who will not do the same thing. And He also said, وَمَا تُنْفِقُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَلِأَنفُسِكُمْ. And whatever you spend in goodness, this is for yourself. Allah is a ghani, He doesn't need our money. And this money will go to support the new shahadas, will go to support the da'wah materials. This is zakat qualified. And وَلَفْتِ قُلْبُهُمْ, they deserve zakat according to the ijma' of the scholars. Alhamdulillah, we support them, and it's enormous cost. We need your help, inshallah ta'ala. We are a non-profit, tax exempt, independent organization that does not belong to any ideology except the Quran and the Sunnah. Alhamdulillah ta'ala, we are featured on TV, Huda TV, Aqra TV. We've been honored by the Imams of the Haram. You see a great article, if you go to our website, written about us, alhamdulillah, on the official website of the Haram of Mecca. You'll see us being honored by the World Muslim Union of Scholars. You see us honored by World Muslim League. And alhamdulillah, they choose me to present Da'wah in America, inshallah ta'ala, on 11th, 3rd, inshallah, November 3rd, which is in only a couple of weeks. I'll be heading to Istanbul, inshallah ta'ala, to represent the issue of Da'wah in North America, invited by Al-Ittihad Al-Alami, Ulama Al-Muslimin, World Muslim Union of Scholars in Istanbul, inshallah ta'ala. So please join us tonight and please support us generously. It costs about $2,000 to sponsor a full-time da'i. It costs about $1,000 to sponsor a part-time da'i, including their material and their costs and expenses and everything. And whatever these brothers and sisters bring to Islam, whoever they bring to Islam, you'll be the same. You'll be a partner in that work, and you'll be getting the same exact reward, inshallah ta'ala, just like them. So take advantage of this opportunity, inshallah ta'ala, because on the day of judgment, you shall remember this day. And I hope, inshallah ta'ala, that we all learn from these hadith and these verses and take it and implement it in our lives, inshallah. And may Allah make us, inshallah, a guide to this country, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us a role model to the rest of humanity. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim. وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم في العالمين انك حميد مجيد. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الاحياء منهم والاموات. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم لا تخزنا يوم يبعثون يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون الا من اتى الله بقلب سليم. اللهم اجعلنا هداة مهتدين ولا تجعلنا ضالة مضلين وفرج كرب اخواننا المكروبين في كل مكان. امين امين. وصلى اللهم وبارك وسلم على نبينا محمد وسلم تسليما كثيرا واقم الصلاه.